real quick, I got a special announcement for you guys. Right now, we're running a special promotion over on Poodlecfb.com. If you use code WINTER with a capital W, you will receive 40% off the annual deal, which basically locks you in from now and the majority of CFB 26. It's one of the fastest growing communities, so you definitely want to get in now so you'll be locked in for next year. And if you want to stick to the monthly plan, we're running 20% off on the monthly if you use code WINTER2025 with a capital W. So make sure to check it out. The codes and links will be down below in the description and in the comments. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Poodle back with another CFB 25 video, and in today's video I'm going to go over the best recruiting strategies in Dynasty mode. Now, before we get to the video, guys, as always, if you haven't already, check out Poodlecfb.com. Guys, if you use code WINTER right now with a capital W, you'll get $40 off the annual plan, and if you use code WINTER2025, capital W, you get 20% off the monthly plan. And remember, these bonuses or these discounts are recurring, so if you do sign up now, you'll lock yourself in for the remainder of CFB 25, which is only like another month or so. But more importantly, you lock yourself in for CFB 26. If you want to dominate your hometown leagues, your friends and families, and make them look silly, you want to get in now so that when that game drops that first day and our group of hundreds of people are breaking down every glitch, every tactic, every method, every loophole that first week, you're gonna be able to utilize it for your first round of recruiting, your first round of the transfer portal, your first round of playing games, and you're gonna just dominate people right out the gate before it's even public information on YouTube. So make sure to check it out. And we are running a special between now and the end of CFB 25. In each video, the first person to DM me on Twitter asking for their specialized coupon code will get a special rate that's better than code WINTER or code WINTER2025. So make sure to DM me if you've been looking to sign up and you want a little bit of a better offer than what we're already offering. Hit me up. First person gets it over on Twitter. But let's get into it. So let's go through a few things, guys. First and foremost is something that I've talked about in the past, and I want to just really rein this in a little bit. It's going to be making sure you're following something that's key for both recruiting for you and for your school. And that's going to be going to your blue chip ratio. So when looking at your team and you look through all of these right here, you're going to notice that there's a bunch of factors for how to improve your team's prestige. One of them is blue chip ratio. So blue chip players like 5 and 4 stars are considered blue chips. The more 4 and 5 stars you have on your roster comparative to the 3, 2, and 1 stars on your roster, the higher your championship contender does go, your blue chip ratio increases. So you really don't want to be recruiting 3 stars or lower. The only time I recommend it is if A, you're a 1 to 2 star program and you need it, or B, you're trying to get elite recruiter and you need like one more two or 3 star guy, or really 1 or 2 more 3 star guys just to get into the top 5. That's fine, but really you want to stop recruiting them. As a team like I had with Syracuse, I was able to basically only recruit 4 stars right off rip just because it's so easy to use another method I'm going to go through here shortly. But make sure you are just recruiting 4 and 5 stars for the most part, trying to filter out the old non 4 or 5 stars and making sure to keep this going up, because not only will it make it better for your team because you're bringing in 4 and 5 stars, you also then get your championship contender up, which makes it easier to recruit because that is a big deal breaker or a big pitch motivation. So make sure you are actually focusing on that. The next one's going to be something when actually recruiting, and that's going to be not bringing in red bus players. The only time I would ever say that red bus players is something that you want to go for, the only caveat is going to be if you're going for elite recruiter. The first season or two, if you need elite recruiter, bring it in the mall because they're going to be the easiest ones to get, because a lot of people are going to be following the advice of don't bring in 4 or 5 stars that are red bus, or in general, right? Make sure to not draft them or recruit them. They will have normal dev or impact dev almost every time. They will have a low ceiling. They will have bad stat caps. They hurt your team, and I'll tell you why. First and foremost, you're putting points towards them that could be going somewhere else. That's the first thing. Second off, their ceiling's low. So even if you have them on your team, they're holding up a spot that you may actually could have used for someone else, and you're eventually going to cut them anyways. So what was the point? They're getting the bonuses, being top of your roster depth chart for drafted players. They're just taking up space there. Then you got to go find their stat caps. Don't bring them in. They're a waste of space. The only time is if you need elite recruiter. That is the one caveat to me ever bringing in those players. Trust me, I don't think I've ever brought one in and been like, oh yeah, he was solid. They always are awful. They always have low overalls. They always have low ceilings. And they overall hurt the ceiling of your team and the floor of your team, because they'll actually bring your overall down a little bit when you have all these 80 overall bust players in your team instead of having players that are hitting up to high 80s, low 90s. So if you want to help the ceiling of your team, definitely don't bring in bust players. Next is going to be the rug pull method, which I've went through a few times. We add a few players to the board here so you can see it. So I always go through the rug pull method. See like how there's differences in the gaps here, right? So Georgia, no one here has a safe enough lead, so you could not do the rug pull method here. The rug pull method that I always refer to is when you take such a big lead that you can pull the points off. Anyone who's been watching me long enough, you know about this method. I utilize it. When I bring in 15 5 stars in a season, it's not because I was able to recruit them in one shot. It's because I utilize this method. So let's say you're a team like a 5-star team or 4-star team, and you have over 1,000 hours, you can comfortably recruit like 8 to 10 5 stars. Almost, because you're gonna have like 75 to 80 hours on a lot of these guys. So here's the thing. you're going to basically be able to just comfortably recruit 8 or 10. And I say only 8 or 10 because then when you want to put on visits, you got to take points off players. So how do you get 15 5-stars? That's simple. You start approaching these 8 to 10 5-star players or 4-star players, whatever you want to do. And what you do is by like week 2 or 3, you'll notice, like, let's say this one right here. Let's say Alabama takes a huge lead and you see Georgia pull their offer. You see Miami's bar only go up a little bit because they already gave up and took their points off. When you start to see everyone behind you give up, you can then actually just go in and pull all your stuff off. Pull your 80 points off, pull everything off. And now you can send those 80 at another player that A, isn't being heavily recruited, or B, is a red bust player. Now, where I would do this is if I want to elite recruiter that first season, let's say I want to get as many 5-stars as possible, you can take the 80 points off of Dylan Snow once you have a comfortable lead and you know that everyone gave up, and you can put it towards those 2 red bust running backs that no one's going for because no one wants the red bust receiving back, and get your elite recruiter. I've utilized like that in multiple leagues to actually get my elite recruiter early. Or there's also situations where some 4-stars, like gem 4-stars, go unrecruited because everyone's fighting for the 5-stars. So let's say you have a 5-star that you're comfortably getting, or a 4-star you're comfortably getting. You can, well, it's usually going to be the 4-star or 5-star you're comfortably getting, because then the 4-star would just be available. You can pull those points off and get 4-stars, because then sometimes what people do is they go in on these 5-stars, and then by the time they lose them, they go back to the 4-stars and they're gone. And that's because people like us are doing the smart thing of don't let those 4-stars sit there. When you have 3 or 4 5-stars locked up, and I'm talking like you could see the offer, like the contract offer gone, you could see the points dropping off, you could see that the top 3 is locked out, and it's going to be 2 CPUs versus you, and they're not even competing with you, you can just back off of them for the next few weeks, because once they're locked out, and no one can mess with you at that point. I do this all the time. Or sometimes if you start off on a new recruit, and sometimes they're a hometown player, because you have the 5-star pipeline, they're a hometown player, and your lead is that big over everyone else, you could do 1 week of them, and by the second week, you could see that no other users join the race with you, because they know right then and there, pull the points off. The rug pull method is so elite, because now this is how you get a class of 8 5-stars and 7 4-stars. Because people are like, how did you bring in so many good 4-stars if you were getting those 5-stars? Because what I did was, once I have those comfortable 5-stars, and people back out of 5-stars early because they know right away, like they can't play around, they're gonna lose this. Too many people are competing with them. When they come off that player, you can then start bringing in these 4-stars, and then you can look at those 4-stars. But on the other side, your 5-star's been locked into the top 3 for weeks, and no one's competing with you. So now you can just go back there and finish them off later, clean the deal. Now you get both players. It's like a 2-for-1 deal, basically. Make sure you're using the rug pull method. It is one of the most elite. Remember though, the only caveat to this, the only thing is, check each week or before each advance and after each advance, because you may see someone sneak in, like Georgia, noticing that you haven't moved in about a week. They may come in with the all 80 offer and gain some massive ground on you if you're not doing anything. So make sure you always check and do your due diligence before each advance and after each advance to make sure you don't lose it. The next one's going to be checking for offers. Guys, this is really the best thing ever. So elite. Like, you want to be doing this after each advance. And of course, let's advance here one time so you can kind of get an idea for what this looks like. You want to advance the week to that first week 0. And this is more beneficial for, I would say, lower programs, especially like what I did at Syracuse. This is how at Syracuse I got to get almost elite recruiter, still working on it, and bring in as many 4-stars as I do. I've been bringing in about 8 to 12 4-stars per year as a 3-star program in a league full of users who follow me and follow our methods and are on Poodlecfb.com. How am I doing that? What I did is, after that first advance, I would go through the 4-star players. I'd go to offer. Dude, you can do this with 5-star students. See this? These are all 4-star players that are being unrecruited. So guess what I did? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. I went through and I started offering them all. Because guess what? If these are all, that's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That is 16 4-star players that went unrecruited. You know what that means? That means I'm going to have no competition. Now, could a team like this, is the only time it messes you up a little bit, is let's say like you start offering them and then Alabama comes in the next week and they just kill you because you're a low program. That happens, but because of using Poodlecfb spreadsheet, I knew that Syracuse had 2 elite recruiter coordinators, so I don't have that problem. Beauty of the spreadsheet, you know exactly who the coordinators are and how to get elite recruiter coordinators. But either way, that's 16 4-stars that are unrecruited. No one offered them, not even CPUs. Guess what? That is a free 16 4-stars. 16 4-stars, it makes you almost a shoo-in for top 5. If you could even pull 1 5-star in there, 2 5-stars. This is the way to do it when you're a low tier program. Why? Your blue chip ratio goes up, the floor of your team goes up, your overall goes up, and this is a situation where I don't care to scout them with red bus because I'm 1 through 3-star school, and I just need my elite recruiter or my blue chip ratio up. This is one of the best things you can do too. Why are you going to go fight with everyone for all the guys with slightly better speed, slightly better weight? There's probably a bunch of gems in here too that went unrecruited. Yes, a lot of times some of them are just red bust, and that's very obvious because no one wanted them. Someone probably scouted them and noticed that, but it is a great way to just get your team foundation up when you're like a 1 or 2 or 3 star school if you're not locked out. But that is what you want to be doing with checking that. The next thing is checking the bar weekly. Guys, see right there, like that slightly grayed out portion of the bar where it goes up after each week. Every week measure that. That is my biggest indicator. I'm no joke, I'm about a 90% success rate on knowing who will win a race just off that. You can just look at it and tell very quickly, like, let's go to this first guy. Okay, so Miami and Georgia are pretty much lock. I'd say Miami maybe has a centimeter better, if not the same. So what does that mean? That means that they have about the same initial offer, but that's fine because this week isn't the week you apply hours, that last week. So you want to wait to see their hours. Once they put all their hours in, if Miami and UGA have an equal gain the next week, you know what that tells you? They either have the same hours or their hours are slightly different, but they're being balanced by elite recruiter packages. Or if UGA gains an extra whole inch on Miami, they have either more hours, better coaching packages, or both. That means that Miami quite literally can't beat them outside of an early hard sell opportunity and elite visit. So now they have to play a different game. Miami can't play the game of just bullying you through. They don't have to be strategic and be like, okay, I need that early visit at advance, and I got to guess my hard sell a week early because I have no chance of beating UGA otherwise. Or on the other side, Georgia can think of it as, I'm beating him. If I can just lock him out of that week 3 visit that we both have, and I got to be on in advance, I can ensure he doesn't get a visit, and he's locked out and he's not winning this. That is the beauty of measuring each week. Or if you see this, Georgia has a good lead, and they're both gaining, but Miami's gaining like an extra 2 centimeters per week, and you can kind of do the math. You're like, okay, Georgia has the lead, but in 3 weeks after 3 advances, Miami will naturally outpace him. So then Georgia knows, okay, I got to hope he A, gets locked out, which he won't, or I got to do a strategic visit or try to get an early hard sell to get rid of that little bit of pace he's gaining. And that's why it's so important. You got to be a little intuitive with this and smart when it comes to it, but measure each week. I used to take out a ruler or like an item on my desk that I can like kind of line up with words and be like, okay, so he's at the Z on here. That's the way to do it. And then it's very easy at that point to kind of like gauge, okay, that's an 80% chance of winning as long as I don't give up the visit. And I start to make a list of all that. Definitely do that. And the other thing, don't scout weeks 0 through 6. You scout in the preseason and you don't scout again until after week 6. Why? It gets me so frustrated when people are like scouting week 2 to see who their next guy is. It's too late. You have to come in with your board ready to go. The week 0 through 6, every hour you have needs to go towards recruiting actions. You cannot be scouting. If you scouting, really think about this. If you scout one player at 30 points, that's basically almost one hard sell. If you scout 2 players for 30 points each, that's 60 points. That's a whole hard sell you're losing. That's a whole recruit you won't be going for that week. Let's say you have to scout 4 players. That's about 3 recruits you're not going for. When you only have enough hours, even as a 5-star, to go for like 8 or 12 recruits at a time. Now imagine you're a school with 300, 400 hours. You even scout a little bit, your whole recruiting class is dead. You don't recruit it, you don't scout again until after week 6. Even then, it depends on if you close deals. Once you close out your first wave of players, like your 8 to 10 players, then you can scout because you have your initial 8 to 10. Now you're looking for gems or diamond in the roughs, right, to come back in and get them and bolster your class. That's the only time I recommend maybe scouting again, but stop scouting week 0 through 6. It is such a waste of points. But guys, that's about it for the video. Hope you did enjoy. If you have any other tips to add them down below. I will be making videos like this sporadically as I put together my best things that you should and shouldn't be doing. Check out Poodlecfb.com. Don't forget to use code WINTER or WINTER2025. Don't forget to DM me on Twitter. First person to DM me after each video goes live gets a specialized one-time use code that you can use for any package on the site. DM me and I'll work it out with you. Make sure to check it out. You won't want to miss it. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. I'm out. Peace.